Hello and welcome to today's show. We are joined by the lovely Paranormal Pixie, Lara. So welcome to the show and
Hi,
welcome, Nicole.
everyone.
Yes, welcome.
Just a quick one. I am really not well. I'm full of a cold. I'm full of whatever you want to say. You can end that yourself. So I will be having to sit back because it's the only way that stops me back and stops me from coughing. So I do apologise for that. And I've already had permission from Lara to say that I can do that. So thank you. I didn't ask Nicole because I know she'd say no.
Nope. No laying down on the job.
I'm not laying down. I'm just like, I won't go to sleep. I promise. I'm just going to relax a little bit when my back starts hurting. So
Just
I do
meditating.
apologise.
Yeah, and I promise I won't be a mom and say, sit up straight.
No, I'm sorry. I do apologise already. So it's
No
all good.
worries.
So we're going to be talking about pretty much everything. Crystals, cryptids, UFOs, alien creatures in the woods, manifestation, everything, I'm guessing. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Mhm.
And also, we've got 2 videos and 1 image from Nicole's investigation that her and the team did on Friday. So I've just downloaded them. So when I go, look like I'm doing, when I look like I'm falling asleep, and downloading them, getting them ready. So just to let you know. So, Lara, how
Yeah.
and why did you become part of this paranormal genre?
Well, 2 parts. So if I start at where I kind of got pulled into all of these communities,
Yeah,
like so many of us, it was in 2020.
yeah,
Um, you know, you're stuck at home. You are a little uncertain about what's going to happen with the world. And so, right before we all got locked in, I had
yeah,
gone to the sci fi convention and Comic Con in Albuquerque, New Mexico, um,
okay.
because I'm a big supernatural fan.
Yeah.
And Mark Shepard was going to be there. And I'm like, there is
Ooh,
no way in hell I am going to miss this.
yeah,
Okay. I am going to go up and hug that man. Um, I loved his performance in Supernatural. He was so much fun to watch. And I had um, seen him in other roles. Loved him as Badger if you've ever watched Firefly and then
yes,
the movie Serenity. Yes, I am a brown coat. I will admit it.
yeah,
Um, so getting the opportunity to do something like that, I have fibromyalgia. My mobility is becoming more and more limited, and I came to the decision before anything went weird with our world that I was going to try to do what I could while I could and not let the opportunity slip away.
yeah.
And so it's like I hadn't been to a science fiction convention or a Comic Con since I was a kid.
Right, okay.
Well, okay, I say kid, late teens, early 20s.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and in the process of doing so, one, it kind of reignited that passion for the out of the ordinary, but it also pulled me towards Instagram, which I had never really gotten onto. And it was thanks to Mr. Shepard's suggestion. His wife also has chronic pain issues and so on, and he mentioned that she had an Instagram account. So I got on there, and I think I was just looking, and it's like, okay, what kind of genres are there on Instagram? What's out
Yeah.
there? And so I thought, you know what? UFO. So I type UFO in search for. Of course, a bunch of stuff pops up.
Yeah.
And one of the first ones that popped up was a fairly new podcast. Um, called Disclosure Team.
Right.
Okay. Um, so I followed the Instagram account for a little while, then saw, okay, this person's making videos over on YouTube. Well, the gentleman's name is Vinny Adams. He's actually a good friend now. It was one of my first friends on Instagram and on YouTube. And he works in the UK. He actually lives in Sheffield um, for UAP Media UK.
Right. Okay.
And so his podcast was very, what's the right word? Um, very professional in interviewing experienced pilots and people maybe within the military and so on
Yeah.
that um, had experienced the UFO and or paranormal phenomenon. And then of course this snowball effect started happening from 2017 forward. Um, so I kind of got pulled into it there in making friends with him and then branching out with, oh wait, on YouTube there's also places like Spaced Out Radio, for instance,
Yeah.
and then finding and making friends there and their individual podcasts and realizing that there were a lot of communities that had the same fascination and interests in, in the paranormal, in UFOs, cryptids, strange phenomenon, and so on, that it felt like home,
Yeah.
for lack of better expression. So, over the last several years, when I'm on my downtime, it's on YouTube. I may be doing something else, whether it's arts and crafts or playing video games, what have you, but I enjoy being part of that community and being someone who can kind of see all sides of it.
Yeah.
And as someone who comes from a teaching background, being an art teacher, learning to help people understand each other's language, because everybody's language, while we may say, we all speak American or we all speak whatever,
Yeah.
um, there are subtle differences in how we perceive individual thoughts and ideas that I may be communicating the exact same thing in my words, but to you it means something different in those words,
Yeah.
but it's still that same thing.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of butting of heads. Um, and I'm like, you know what? I can put my skills to good use and kind of help bring communities together because, and I know you've seen it. We've all seen it.
Yeah.
There's these um, it's my way or the highway, or just
Yeah.
it, it's like that movie in Canto. We don't talk about Bruno, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess in part by how I was able to kind of myself relate to other people and then help those people relate to each other. Next thing I know, every time I turn around, it's like I pop into somebody's chat and I've got a blue wrench. And I'm like,
Right.
okay. And so I make sure that I let those people know when they give me that wrench that one, it is a responsibility. And
Yeah.
I don't take that lightly. Um, and whatever that person's channel, that's like their living room. It's their
Yeah.
space, it's their choice, and I will abide by it. So like when I'm in SOR chat and something happens in the chat and it goes against Dave's rules,
Yeah.
not me, it's Dave's rules,
Yeah.
and I will abide by it. And on that same token, though, if something's happening in a chat room that say makes me uncomfortable, or I can tell is making someone else uncomfortable,
Yeah.
I do not have a single problem with getting on Messenger or whatever platform and private messaging the owner of that channel going, okay, this is
Yeah.
going on. How do you want me to handle it? Or is it okay if I handle it my way?
Yeah.
Because you get so many trolls out there that all it takes is one in a chat of 200 people, and next thing you know, everybody's going after each other because one jerk came in there and instigated,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So that's been kind of part of my YouTube journey. But as far as everything else goes, it's been since I was a kid. Um, I'm a born and raised nerd, geek, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
I was born in 1967, so you're talking the year that Star Trek came out. My mom was a big Star Trek fan. Um, when I was a kid, we were in the sci-fi club and did all of that. I actually got to meet George R. Martin well
Oh.
before he wrote any of his major books. As a matter of fact, there was a book he wrote. It's a vampire-based book called Fever Dream that he had
Right.
just written, and he actually came to the Star Trek Club meeting to talk about that book and talk about creative writing. And
Yeah.
so, you know, I have all of these wonderful memories of that kind of thing alongside being in a family raised by my mother because my parents divorced when I was small.
Yeah.
And so my mom, my her mother, and my great grandmother all were living in the same time, sometimes in the same house,
Yeah.
and all having our own psychic abilities. Okay,
Ah.
uh, different, different to varying degrees, some crossover, but
Yeah.
being able to, for me, being highly empathic. Um, we noticed it starting when I was like 5 or 6, and somebody would start arguing. And the next thing you know, I mean, emotionally, that energy affects you anyway. But then I would become physically sick. I, it was like it broke down my immune system.
Yeah.
And we started to realize that my environment, I was able to sense more than the average person.
Yeah.
Um, and then when I got into my early tweens and teens, being able to sense ghosts and spirits.
Yeah.
Um, I've only ever seen with my physical eyes once that I can say 100%, twice because there's another could be, couldn't be, you know, I don't have a photograph, I don't have film or whatever
Yeah. Yeah.
to say that, yeah, this was definitively not something that was there in real time. Um, but I've been able to walk into places and feel the spirits that are there
Yeah.
and say, okay, uh, if you're familiar with psychic mediums, well, for instance, my mentor is psychic medium Sarah Lamos. She was
Okay.
on Ghosts of Morgan City, Ghost Town Terror, um, and so on. And my abilities work very much like hers. Okay.
Yeah.
So before I go to some place with that purpose, um, I had learned that I can pick up information. And so, I might start to draw what information I'm getting of, okay, this is what the layout of the house looks like. Maybe, this is the what the room looks like where they're having activity. I may
Yeah.
be able to describe what kind of activity is going on. I may be able to describe the person that is believed to be the cause of the activity, living or deceased,
Yeah.
and so on. I had a lot of great experiences with that when my husband and I were a member of the Elks Lodge here in Los Alamos. Um, that
Right.
place is very haunted, so it and it was that lifetime of small experiences that I didn't realize until COVID, the lockdown, how much I'd
Yeah.
mudded myself, how much I'd hidden my abilities.
Yeah.
Um, Not having, when I grew up in Albuquerque, that group of friends that were the weirdos, okay, and that term gets thrown around in
Yeah.
ways that a light was turned on for me in 2021. Um, that I had a conversation when my girlfriend Diana and and hi sis, I love you. She was
Uh,
very happy that you have closed captioning on because my sister is deaf.
oh, right.
Um,
Okay.
and so she's actually watching right now. She
Cool.
and I got
Hello.
to go to the Belvoir Winery and Oddfellows Hall in Liberty, Missouri in 2021.
Yeah.
Amy Bruni and Adam Berry were
Yeah.
putting on a Strange Escapes event, right? John E.L. Tenney was there. One of our favorite shared memories is the night that we walked our group up to the cemetery, and she and I, being of more limited mobility, we were like the last ones to get up there, and we're like,
Yeah.
you know what? There was this beautiful memorial, because it's sort of a veterans memorial. We sat down in front of it and said, we're just gonna sit here, let people walk around, do their thing. And John Kenny comes and sits down next to us and starts talking.
Oh.
One of the things that he described to us over that weekend that really hit home to me was the term weirdo and where it came from, and that its root word, weird,
Yeah.
would have originally been spelled W-Y-R-D, weird, from ancient Celt,
Yeah.
that it meant wise. The weirdos
Ah.
would have been the wise ones, the ones that see the paranormal, that have that esoteric knowledge, that
Yeah.
were outside the norm. And so it used to be a revered word that society has flipped
Yeah.
to be derogatory. And so it's like, you know what? I think from here on out, I can be a weirdo and wear that with pride,
Yeah.
and be
Yeah.
okay with it. And it was also at that event that it was like, I have been covering myself up. I have been hiding this side of me, this psychic. Speaking of cats, you'll see a tail here in a moment. Yep.
Just seeing it
Um.
click then. Yeah.
Yep. And that I've been hiding it so much, I kind of lost part of myself. And it was
I
like,
was
you know
gonna.
what? I bet there's a lot of people out there like me.
Yeah. I was gonna say by doing that you kind of forget who you really are.
You do.
Yeah. You kind of like sit back and because I've done it myself. You kind of sit back and look at everything that's going on, and I find that when you do that, you kind of start blending back into the normal. And it's like, no, I don't like it. And it's they've got push yourself back out and become that weirdo.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
And so that. event spurred me into. I had already seen, watch a lot of paranormal TV.
Yeah.
Um, Super jealous that you are friends with Barry Fitzgerald.
Sorry.
Just gotta say that. Always
Can I
loved
just
him
say
on
he is
Ghost
an
Hunters International.
absolutely top, amazing, genuine guy. He really
Yeah,
is. He's
and
just
and you
awesome.
see it
Very funny when we.
in his
Yeah.
interviews. You see it. You saw it when he was on Ghost Hunters International.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
all of that, but finding that I was drawn back into that, it's like, okay, I started doing searches, and Sarah has a YouTube group. It's called Our Tribe That Thrives on Facebook, under Psychic Medium Sarah Lemos.
Yeah.
And she's first and foremost a teacher. She actually had given a reading to Ben Hansen at an event
Yeah.
that
Oh my God.
knocked him off his heels, and that's why he grabbed her and said, "I want you for Ghosts of Morgan City."
Wow. Well, I actually messaged Ben a few months back, and he
Yep.
replied, but he said, unfortunately, due to TV work and family life and everything else, he goes, he's
Yeah.
unable to come on. But thanks for reaching out to him. And I thought that's a really nice guy because I used to watch Fact or Fate.
Oh, I
There's
love that show.
I can't believe they got rid of it. It's one of the best ones ever. And he was on a
Yeah.
couple of other the paranormal ones. I think was it
Mhm.
Unsolved Mysteries or something like that. He was like the
Something
main
like that. Yeah.
host. I don't think it was
Yeah.
unsolved. It was unsolved something or other, or something mysteries. But yeah, no,
Yeah.
he
Absolutely
was
love
really
that.
nice, and the fact that he replied to me and he just explained the reasons why he couldn't do it. I thought, what a top guy.
Yeah, most people wouldn't
It's
even give you a response.
Oh yeah,
right.
nothing. A lot of
Or
people, nothing.
or it would be a canned response. That automated response that
Yeah,
you get when you get somebody's voicemail kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Finding out that the majority of people within, especially the paranormal community, are like that.
yeah,
Sarah, super approachable. Speaking of which, if you're interested in having her come on, I know she loves doing podcasts.
yeah, yeah.
So, you know,
We
you,
have got because I'm only
yeah.
doing it month at a time.
Hmm.
Actually, chatting to Nickname today, we've got quite a lot of Fridays um empty.
Do we?
There's
Yeah,
one,
so,
yeah, there's one Friday in November that we're not doing. That's the 8th of November.
yep.
Yeah. So, but other
And
than that,
actually, depending on, because uh, while she's not able to talk about what it is she's filming, she
yeah,
did make an announcement. She has a new filming opportunity, so she's going to be busy over the next couple of months. But I believe
ah,
by that point in November, she'll be back home and able to do that because I know she will be back. One of her classes opens up at that point. Um,
right. Well,
I
what?
went back and started taking classes from her, so
Yeah, I was just going to say. So what I'll do then, I'll leave the Fridays empty. So the 15th, the 22nd, and the 29th. I'll say it now before I forget, and then it's on air. So yeah, I'll leave them free
yeah,
empty
sounds
and then
good.
go from there. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll send her a message.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
She's a sweetheart. You'll absolutely love her.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, and she's like me. It's like when it comes down to it, I'll tell you like it is.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I will keep things to a certain level of politeness, like especially for YouTube or different people's
yeah.
channels
Well,
and so on. But I will be a no bullshit girl.
yeah. That's the best way. Because I was when I first started doing this, when I first started interviewing people, I'm like, never done anything like this before in my life. I talk to people, but
Yeah.
not asking, and then it's asking the right sort of questions. But then it's like I kind of like used to skirt about. If you watch some of the earliest, don't watch any of the earlier stuff. But if you
Go on.
do stumble on some of the earlier stuff, it's just so cringy. It's awful.
Yeah.
But now
You
it's
know,
like
I feel the
you
same
just
way.
say it as just say it as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not, as long as you're not what's the word? You're not being condescending and you're not insulting or anything like that. It's like
Yeah.
it's like well, I don't agree with what you're saying, but this is the reason why. I'm not saying I don't agree. So I'm
Yeah.
giving you my opinion as to why I don't agree with it. I'm not saying I'm right. So that's it. That's all I've got.
Yeah.
Sorry, just quickly, just for everyone who's watching who cannot get in the chat, you do have to be subscribed to the channel now to come in the chat. So if you cannot get in, it's because you are not subscribing and you are cheating the system, and things will happen. And that's it. That's all I've got. I can't think of what things will happen, but things will happen.
Calling Brian out right now.
I do.
Sorry, don't
Yeah,
make
he
me laugh.
created that thinker.
Don't make me
Yeah.
laugh. I was
Well,
trying to
and
avoid
we talked a
names.
little bit off camera about it, wanting to bring this community together.
Yeah.
We've got the UFO community and the Bigfoot and paranormal and all of that. And well, okay, yes, I believe it's all connected. Not everyone
Yep.
does, but we are all connected in that outside the norm aspect, and let's take it to our advantage. Let's make each other stronger. Let's
Yeah.
figure this
Yeah.
stuff out.
What's your favorite subject in the paranormal? You're more into the ghosts or the UFOs?
So for me, it would have to be ghosts. Okay, but it's mostly
Yeah.
because of my personal experience and and like ghost hunters, for instance, they were the trendsetter.
Yeah.
Having the first time in a long time, because there were paranormal programs when I was growing up. We had, um, In Search of and all these other programs, but they, they sensationalized it so much over the top that it was
Yeah.
like, how can an outside person believe that this is really happening and not all just scripted? And so
Yeah.
therefore there were a lot of people that thought ghost hunters were scripted, where
Well,
no, it wasn't.
I've
Um,
asked the questions to
you know,
2-3 people that worked on it, and I'm not going to go into everything that they said, but what was said, it wasn't scripted. It was they didn't show everything that
It's
was
heavily
right.
edited.
said.
It
Yeah.
was edited. And
Like reality.
I had a
Yeah.
conversation actually. Um, I got to go visit the haunted Palmer Hotel in Sauk Center, Minnesota,
Yeah.
and Dave Schrader was there, and Sarah Lemos was there. Okay, and one of the talks they did was, what is it like being a behind the screen, on TV, um, paranormal personality, if you will. What do you see? What do you not see? And, for instance, they may have a moment where Sarah picks up something, and Sarah in that moment is like, okay, I gotta tell Dave this, 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 and this. But the camera crews aren't all there. And so
Yeah.
then they also want to get those different shots of her talking
Yeah.
and facing him and him facing her. And so part of that is, if you want to call it scripted, it is set up so that they can get those, okay, they showing that this is a conversation that is happening. It doesn't mean what she picked up on is any less valid, but this is for television. And so
Yeah.
you have to look at it that way. Um, so, being drawn into that and seeing for the first time somebody approaching it with a scientific method. Um, and that it's a slippery slope. I know
Yeah.
there's some people that have problems. Dave Scott, he's a sweetheart, but I agree. It gets thrown out that we're using scientific method.
Yeah.
We're conducting we're conducting science. No, you're using a technique that is a scientific method of investigating by
Yeah.
trying to get repeatable or repeating evidence, or scrutinized. That
Yeah.
seeing for the first time on TV, that it's like, okay, we've got a group here. One, they're not going in there. Well, those who shall remain dude run nameless, um,
Zach Baggins, by any
with a
chance?
method of decorum, if you will.
Yeah.
Because, okay, if you're going to look at a place, or talk to somebody that thinks that they're having paranormal activity, they're scared.
Yeah.
They don't need somebody freaking the F out and making them feel even more scared, right?
Yeah.
They're hoping for somebody that's going to reel them in and say, okay, first, let's figure out what it isn't before we decide what it is.
Yes.
Let's make sure it isn't a fear cage, right? Which
Yeah.
I love, because my husband's been, he does wiring and electronics and all of that, that they explained that and how it works and how high EMF fields, if you're in a place where you've got exposed wiring, can cause, headaches and nausea and even hallucinations and
Yeah.
make you sick and all of that. That, okay, let's eliminate that first. Then whatever is left behind, well, that could be the paranormal.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then let's see if we can find ways to figure out what that paranormal is.
Yeah.
And for the first time, it felt like having a public voice that was saying, okay, you lady out there, maybe it's not just you that's experiencing all of this. Maybe there are other people out there that are like you, and it's not so weird. Now, I didn't like, but I highly respect that they never got into using or working with psychics or mediums on ghost hunters.
Yeah.
I absolutely love and respect that Amy Bruni, Adam
Yeah.
Berry, when they did Kindred Spirits, that they brought in Chip Coffey. Chip Coffey is a doll, and I just want to kiss him all over his face. He's just a sweetheart. Because
Yeah.
again, it was wonderful to see someone going out and trying to help people and trying to understand what may be happening that was like me and bring that fear level down. And like Amy said, help both the living and the dead.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's like one of the things that I liked about them is, like, obviously with Jason and Grant, because they worked in the plumbing business.
My
So they,
camera's going to be bouncing around. I've got to move this. I keep bumping my
that's
stand.
fine. That's
I don't
fine.
want to make people seasick.
It's fine. I'll
There we
look
go.
down. It's okay. So it's the fact that they were both plumbers, and then the first thing they would go in and check were the pipes, because
Yeah.
of the houses, especially the ones that are out in the sticks, they've probably had the same height since the house was built in like the 16, 17, 1800s. So you're
And they're
looking
Right.
noisy.
like, yeah,
Oh,
200,
yeah.
300 years. There's nothing
And they
gripping them.
will turn themselves on.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know it
because
from
you've got
experience.
the seals go and all sorts. It's just the house shifts, all that kind of stuff. So that was
Mhm.
what I liked. It's like they went straight in and they did that. And then
Yeah.
when they wasn't convinced that the house was not haunted, they would say pretty much, we're not convinced it's haunted. We don't think there's anything going on here. We don't know what
Right.
it is, but we don't want to say there's a ghost. It could be, but we very much doubt
Mhm.
it. But none of the others do that. Like, it's a demon, run. And they all just peg it, gone. That's it.
Yeah.
And then it
Mhm.
cuts to the ads. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes, that show that shall remain nameless. Mhm.
I
Yeah.
nearly said it
And
then.
But you know,
that one's
it had its moments, that show.
I love the show. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I don't like what it has become.
No,
Mhm.
not now. It's become more of a sideshow, circus
It's kind
act.
of a parody of itself at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
But do you think that's then because he's done what he wanted to do and now he's got his museum in Vegas and he's got all these haunted objects? He's even got the remains of somebody's house that got destroyed. He's got the door and the garage door and window
Yeah.
frames and they're all in like this glass box or something. And he's got all that in there. It's like, so is he milking it now, do you think?
It's a combination of things from what I see. So,
Yeah.
one, you're dealing with somebody that's got a dominant personality. And we
Yeah.
see that. And I'm not saying that's necessarily a bad thing. That,
No.
Most of our good leaders have dominant personalities. But you couple that with the paranormal, and then you couple that with Hollywood.
Yep.
And it's a fine line, you know, just like myself. How do you stay yourself and not let ego take over? And I think in a lot of it, ego has taken over.
Yep.
And also, objects carry energy. Whether that energy is haunted or not, that object
Yeah.
still carries energy. And positive or negative, that energy affects us in our everyday lives.
Mm-hmm.
And he surrounds himself with things that were around negative experiences. And whether those objects themselves are haunted or not, they, in my mind, carry a negative vibration and energy.
Yeah.
And it goes back to, it's basically put himself in a paranormal um pure cage of
Oh
EMF
yeah.
with
Yep.
all of these things. Um,
Sorry.
oh, no worries. I sympathize completely. Though
The code.
touch wood, I have not gotten sick yet. This time of year we have a big bush type plant that grows called
Yeah.
chamisa, and it has these beautiful yellow flowers. And so, it'll turn the mountainside,
Yeah.
gorgeous with all the yellow
Nice.
and with all the pollen,
Oh,
because
not good.
this is the only time of year that it pollinates.
Yep.
So usually I live on my allergy medicine from now until
Yeah.
the first snowfall because it just keeps going.
Well, this time of year, from here until like the middle of winter, people don't realise is the worst time for hay fever
Hmm.
because all obviously the bees and insects and birds and all that are all transpollinating plants and trees. This time
Yeah.
it's where they're all dying, so all the pollen's dropping, the weather's picking up, the wind, the rain, and it's all getting circulated and blowing everywhere. You've got your doors open to try and air the house off. It's coming in the house, and people just don't realise that this is the worst time of year. Not spring, not summer, like autumn into winter. It's
exactly.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, you've got that blowing in. You've got the nights are getting colder, so your furnace is kicking on. So it's then blowing all of that stuff around in your house.
Yep.
And one of the very first things my husband and I do in the fall is we make sure that the filters are swapped out so that at least some of that is getting filtered out of the air.
Yeah.
Where was I going to go with that thought? So we're talking about the different shows, and so yes, your intro of Bench Guy, right?
Yep.
And getting involved in a YouTube community has afforded me the opportunity to take advantage of and work in the same or similar way that Chip Coffey has done in the last few years, right? Because of his health, he's had to work remotely.
Yeah.
And honestly, I had not heard the term remote viewing until about a decade ago, and didn't realize what I called far seeing, psychic ability, had also been called remote viewing, right?
Yep.
And I don't know if other people call it that. That's what my mom, my grandmother called it. And realizing that, wait a minute, that's exactly what Chip is doing, only he's not only tapping into that energy of the house and what's going on there or the property, so on, but he's also able to connect with whatever spirits and energies might be there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, wait a minute, maybe I can. And so, in taking classes with Sarah to kind of resharpen, if you will, my psychic abilities and also try to understand what it is to be a medium. And I've never quite considered myself a medium because in my eyes, I misunderstood that you don't have to see things with your physical eyes.
No.
To be a medium. Because I would always see it here. I would always see it in my mind, in your mind palace, mind's eye, third eye, whatever you want to call it. And so having Sarah help me understand that, I'm like, I wonder if I can do that. I wonder if I can remotely help people on investigations and be able to contribute with my abilities to this community in a way that is beneficial.
I'm interested to see what you think of the videos from the investigation to see what
exactly. And so, being able to watch these videos, especially when you're doing them live and be in the chat, and if I say, go to that third tree and turn right and tell me if there's two graves there, and have that kind of thing validated. One, helps you and is huge for me because it's validating for me. And as someone who has hidden my gifts for a long time, having that validation, I can breathe a little easier going, okay, I'm not making this stuff up. I, maybe I can help people with it. And I'm also, I've had too many instances from my childhood where I got called the freak, I got called the witch, I got, and all in a negative, derogatory manner. Now, I have no problem identifying with the idea of a witch because what a modern day witch and what a witch really and truly was was someone who was a healer, a seer, a teacher, a midwife. They were respected and revered. They weren't what church and Hollywood has made them out to be. You Story tales, fairy tales. Now, there are those old fairy tales that had it to a specific individual, the witch of
Yeah.
so and so.
Yeah.
Well, it didn't say all witches of so and so, just the witch of so and so.
Yeah.
And it was this one that was a bad one that did these bad things.
Yeah.
Okay, they got it.
But but this is what I don't get. So you've got witches that were burnt at the stake, there's drowned, the all stuff that went on with the trials, the hanging and that. But a witch
Mm-hmm.
doctor in a tribe or a small village was respected, was like the top dog. What's the
Right.
difference?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing other
Nothing.
than the area where they lived. And that's the
And the
only thing that
difference
was
between
different.
what's the difference between them and a Aztec shaman,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly the same
Or
thing.
yeah, I mean it's all cultural steering towards a narrative.
What fits and what doesn't. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And who controls that narrative? And how can we steer it to what we want? And it's gone on for thousands of years. One
Yeah.
person, one group, one country, one tribe wanting to dominate
Yeah.
a society. And how do we do that? Well, we supplant our ideals over theirs. It
Yeah.
happened with the Celts. It happened with the Native Americans. So it's
Yeah. It's
luckily
messed
we
up.
live in a society where, yes, it's still prevalent, but we are seeing that dial starting to turn.
Yeah.
Where, okay, you know what? You do you. You're not hurting anybody. I'll
Yeah.
do me. I'm not hurting anybody. And it's okay. In my family, on the book, you would look at us and say, okay, well, she didn't go to church. She came from a um, Christian Baptist family heritage.
Right.
But at home, it was, oh, you don't feel good today. What are your symptoms? Okay, first we're going to go out and we're going to pick some feverfew. Then we're going to go out and we're going to crush up this. Or, so there
Yeah.
was a lot of that, what is called hedge witch or kitchen witchery,
Yeah.
right? That esoteric knowledge that had been passed down through the generations of that side of my family that we just thought that was just how you did it. You know,
Yeah.
we didn't think of it as, quote, witchcraft, but this is what you did. Or, okay, you want to bring good luck in and keep bad luck out. Well, you placed an iron nail on the sill above your doorway, right?
Yeah.
Going back to the old lore of iron protecting um, from the Fae
Yeah.
and ghosts and so on. So it was all those little things that we did in the background that, yeah, okay, if you looked at all those little things together, you could call me a modern day witch, a Mitch. I don't know where that came from, but omnist, spiritualist, weirdo, you know, they all
Yeah.
fit me. Um, yeah, I believe that there is a higher power,
Yeah.
but I can't tell you what that higher power is. I can't tell you that it's a single being that rules over us and all of everything. maybe it's a force. Maybe it's the force.
Be.
You know, the source of all life. Maybe that source of all life was just simply a spark,
Yeah.
and we have no way to understand it. And then culturally, as we grew, we began to develop our own definitions of what it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm on a road to explore.
And if we knew, as I always say, we won't be sat here now talking. Well, we
Hmm.
would, but we were like, well, I know it's this and I know it's that. All right, then, bye.
Mhm.
And that'd be it. It'd be like a 30-second conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
what a boring world it would be.
oh, I know. I won't be
It's
able
like
to
with every
cope.
person who's on, like your perception changes a little bit because you're like, you know what, that fits. That
Yeah.
sounds right. And the next person comes on, you're like, that fits too.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So it's constantly evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just
And
disagree with everybody,
Hmm.
and then you're safe, aren't you? You
yeah,
don't have to
I've met those
keep
people.
backtracking.
I
Yeah.
have. I think my granddad was one of them.
Yeah.
But still love him anyway. You
Yeah.
know, it and it's those. I've always been thirsty for knowledge, whether that knowledge is spiritual based or science based. You know, both ends of the spectrum. It's like understanding. My husband worked at the laboratory in thermoluminescence. So specifically, the thermoluminescent properties of crystals,
Ah.
developing how and understanding how crystals work for use in
Yeah.
things like liquid crystal diodes for your watch, or the crystals
Ah.
that conduct energy in your phone or your computer. And
Yeah.
okay, well, how does that interpret to the metaphysical? And where do they meet? Where do they cross over? Right? And
Mhm.
so we've actually had some fascinating conversations. You know, him from the scientific side and
Yeah.
me from more the metaphysical side of, okay, well, could it be this? Could it be that? Um, you know, understanding at its base that everything we see, feel, hear, know is made of, at its base, atoms, you know, with positive and negative charges,
Yeah.
and that atom is energy. But yet, that single atom, all by itself, is exactly the same as this atom. But this atom is part of me, and that atom is part of you. Well,
Yeah.
how do they interact? So, getting into both that quantum science discussion and the metaphysical discussion is
Yeah.
one that I will jump down any day of the week. I love those
That,
discussions.
I do, but
Hmm.
that just hurt my head because how do them atoms know where to stay? Why they're not traveling?
Exactly.
What's stopping them from
From just
going? Yeah.
yeah,
Stopping you
yeah,
from dissipating into the ether.
Yeah.
exactly.
Mhm.
Exactly. Or how do they know that that atom is supposed to put together this specific cell for this specific purpose in your body,
Mm,
right? Um, yeah,
yeah.
it it's mind blowing
I do
and
have to
mind
lie
opening.
down now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll hurt your brain. Don't I'll hurt your brain and then I'll make you a cup of tea to make you feel better. How's
Oh,
that sound?
that's
Ah.
fine. Perfect. Perfect. No,
You
that's
know,
just
and
stuff like it messes with my head. But as you said, the deeper you go down, I think you get a better understanding. See what I did?
mhm,
Understanding of
Miranda will be so
what's
proud.
what, yeah, of what's going on.
R.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
Hmm.
seeing how it's all connected too. I mean, I love the fact that science is finally catching up to what the metaphysical has understood for thousands of years.
yeah,
You know,
Yes.
you look at how, for instance, the thought process of Buddhist monks, Tibetan monks. and the way the energy flows within our bodies and in the universe around us. And it's science is finally saying, oh yeah, quantum physics. We can now explain that to some extent with mathematical equations, but yet you take those same mathematical equations and apply them backwards to like some of the sand paintings the Tibetan monks would create and their sacred geometry. And
Yeah.
guess what? It is the same.
Yeah.
It all comes back to itself. And one of my favorite sayings is that the supernatural and paranormal is only that which science has yet to understand.
It's always been like that. It's always taken science a while to catch up to what people already know is happening. Like, look at,
Yeah.
old times when people thought rain was, tears of God, or they could do a dance and bring on a storm. Like, now we have an understanding of how that works, but it's the same process. It's the same thing it always has been. We just understand it.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
I mean, in medieval times, I would have been called a weather witch because it'll be blue sky. You don't
yeah.
see any clouds, and I can tell you in 30 minutes, there are going to be clouds that roll over the top of our mountain
Yeah.
because I can feel it. And when you say that, if you said that in medieval times, they're, oh,
Yeah.
you're a witch, you're supernatural. No, it's called arthritis. It's called
Yeah.
fibromyalgia. I literally feel the changes in the barometric pressure that allow me to be more sensitive to those subtle changes. So before the clouds come, it's going to rain today or it's not going to rain today.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you.
I know.
Right. Just quickly, because we're on the hour mark now. We're gonna do the image and 2 videos from Nicole's investigation, and then
Sweet.
because there's quite a lot, there's a lot of detail to go through, isn't there?
It was a really, really interesting night. So we were at an old trolley power station near me. They used to have the trolleys, and this station provided all the power for the trolleys on that line. So they had to come there and power up before they went out. And the owner of the building now, it's a business that's going in there. They're doing a lot of construction, and they've been having some experiences. And one employee there, actually, his whole personality has changed since he started working there.
Oh,
Like very angry, agitated, just not himself.
he doesn't work where I work, does he?
I don't think so.
You never know. No, I'm only messing.
But this is only from when they started moving into this new building.
Right. So do you want me to show the photo first or the videos?
Video.
Video. Which one? The one with the text or without?
They both have text. Just play one and we'll.
Right. There's one at 36 seconds and one 147.
Okay, do the 36-second one first.
Right. Okay. Here we go. I've not seen.
There's the train again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Is the train coming? The trolley coming? Oh my God! You see what the was that? You see it moved. I moved.
I moved.
Whistle while you're out. Did you see it? Oh my God! You see it moved. 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 Oh my
That's the kind of stuff you never get on camera. Now I have to go get it and fix it.
Right.
Yeah.
Can I play that again?
Yeah,
'Cause I
that
seen
ledge
some-
was level.
I seen something on the right hand side. I don't know if it's somebody's foot. It kind of comes in, then goes out again. About
I didn't notice that.
28, 30 seconds into it. I'll take the mics off when I play it so I can tell you.
Yeah, you can.
Oh.
Yeah, cut it after you.
There's the train again.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, so the mics are back on now. So if you look, I think it's somebody's leg.
Is the train coming? Charlie? Oh my God! What the frick was that?
I moved. kind of stuff you never get on camera.
Yeah.
Right now.
Now I have to go get it and fix it.
Yeah, and that was
Yeah,
someone's
down
leg.
in the lower side. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
that
yeah,
their
did
leg
go.
move. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But we jumped around. We banged on that ledge. We went up and down the stairs. We did everything.
Nothing.
That flashlight would not move. That ledge was perfectly level.
Yeah. So how many
So
was there? Was it the four of you and the guy that worked there, or
No, it was just the four of us. There was nobody else in the building.
no one there? Wow.
Mhm.
So shall I
They
play
left-
the 1:47 or the image?
Yeah, you can play that one. So we were doing an EVP, like a DR60 EVP session.
Yeah.
And you hear footsteps. And then we're being quiet to listen to the footsteps. And then we got this on the recording.
Okay. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Now?
Who's upstairs walking around?
That has to be a person.
Somebody's gonna be outside.
Is somebody here?
Because there's windows right there. We can see them out in the yard.
Is there anybody out there?
No, I don't see anybody, but it sounds like they're outside this door, but don't open the door.
No,
I'm
don't
not
open.
gonna open the door.
This has to be clear because we've got
There's windows right there. I'm gonna look out the window.
Is it?
I'm
They
great.
pull,
I don't have a catfish.
did they pull in? What's that noise outside though?
There's nobody out there.
No, I want them to think somebody's in here and don't come in.
We can turn this light on.
But there's nobody out there. There's nobody out there. Where would they have gone?
You said he's outside.
Hmm.
So did you hear all that noise coming from
I
behind the
heard
door?
like a
Yeah.
like sort of noise, not a hum. It sounded like humming, but it's more like an engine type.
Yeah.
It sounded like.
It
Yeah.
sounded
Also, you could hear a little bit of walking too.
Yeah.
the walking and it was like shuffling. It was so loud in person. That camera was across the room and it still caught it.
Wow.
Nice.
It was that loud. We thought that, but there was nobody there and there was nowhere for them to go. We looked out the windows right away.
Yeah.
Was it single level or double level? Was there an
Two levels.
upstairs or an attic?
Yeah.
Okay. So looking at that video, and okay, you've got the door off to this side, and then off to this side, there was sort of bookshelves. Did you get any cold spots in that area?
That not that I felt, but it
Ask
was
if you
a little
want.
drafty in there anyway.
I get the sense that in that spot where she was standing there at the last, that all of a sudden you would suddenly have that sensation of like, ooh, who opened a window, but no window would open. So ask your teammates and see if they experienced that, would you?
I will.
Okay.
Yeah, that's actually the room where the man works.
Okay.
It's like that's the space that he works out of, that his whole personality has changed.
Yeah. Check with him as well, because the sense that I get is that that's something that occurs more than once, that other people would have felt it. So, and that's the kind of tapping in that I've actually done some of it with Brandy and Krista from the Blondes and Boobs on
Yep.
their YouTube channel, Texas Front Porch, all of them. They've done several live investigations of, both like Brown Springs and then, oh God, the Ray County Museum, and being able to kind of direct them is like, okay, either A, have you had that experience there, or B, if you go to this area, you'll find XYZ, and been able to help validate them as well as myself. So,
Yeah.
I have a feeling though you're going to come across somebody that says yes, that in that particular spot that it was just like a blast of cold air.
Well, we're going back too, so
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, shall I put the
Yeah.
picture up now then?
Yeah, so preface with this one, I was upstairs sitting right next to that ledge where the flashlight was moved.
Yeah.
And we were doing an Estes session. So I had the spirit box on, the headphones on, and that's why at the end of the last clip, Lisa says, like, oh, you said he's outside, he's watching. Because that's what I said apparently during Estes. And I felt while I was up there, like something was touching my leg, something was touching my arm. And then it felt like a giant hand came down on my head like this.
Oh.
Like a massive hand. End of the night, I get in my car, and this is on my sunroof.
Oh wow!
How big is that hand?
It's big. It's way
That's
bigger than
like
my
size of my leg.
huge.
Wow!
Because I have a panoramic sunroof on my car, and that's
you see three. Is it the 3/4 one? Or
yeah,
2/3?
Yeah.
Near us. Yeah.
it's huge.
Yeah.
Wow!
Yeah. So really weird that I said like that's what I felt like, a giant hand just on my head, and then I get in the car.
So how did you measure the size of the hand?
I didn't, because I was about to start driving, so I took like a picture of it next to my hand, a picture of it next to my phone, like for comparison.
Yeah.
But like it's huge.
So you've got the iPhone 15, haven't you? Which is 6.2 inches corner to corner, or 6.4, whatever. Call it 6.5. So how big is it compared to your phone?
The fingers are as long as my phone.
Wow!
Right, I'll just take this off. So I've got the 15 Pro Max, which is only slightly bigger than the 15. There. My phone is the size of my hand, right?
Yeah.
So you've got fingers,
that are like
look, not even half. I know I don't have little tiny baby hands. Before anyone asks.
What area is this location?
It's in Orange County, New York.
Okay, so Bigfoot country also.
Yeah.
So it's always possible you've got more than one thing happening.
But the ends of the fingers.
But that's also wild.
And that's on the outside of the car, because I tried to wipe it off. It's on the outside.
Right. The end of them fingers are spoon-like. Which, when I find it, don't say I've deleted it. Oh no! The one on Ash's back from that it's similar sort of fingers.
Long,
yeah. More bulbous.
You've got the ET fingers. We got. Brian just put it in.
Yeah, I would have thought raccoon maybe if it wasn't for like the thumb.
Godzilla version of the raccoon.
Right.
Well, if you know a raccoon and then like,
that would be Raccoonzilla.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if it's as long as your fingers, as long as your phone. That's it.
But surely,
an atomic raccoon.
They'd be more because the size of a raccoon, they don't get that much bigger than a medium-sized dog, do they?
Yeah,
No.
I mean,
So you'd have the other
we-
footprints and fur prints on top of the sunroof and probably up the side of the car as well. Unless it's it's just landed on top because it got dropped out of a UFO. But
Right? Yeah, you'd have the raccoon butt print sitting there too.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, so that was
name's Floppy.
yeah, you'd have the fur print and everything. It's like when you lean your head against a window when it like the condensation, same sort of thing, same thing.
Right. That is wild. Yeah, and then like you said, especially with you feeling that large hand on top of your head.
Yeah,
And for me, it again flips back to what it is it with the supernatural that science has yet to understand. And like some of the work that my husband did, and understanding, just in the last few years, people are starting to understand we only see about that much of the full light spectrum
like
the human
2%.
eye can see. Because a lot of the work that he did was outside of the human visible spectrum. And so, how much exists around us every day that is either outside of that visible spectrum or our hearing, right? Too high above our own hearing for us to hear a dog whistle. Great example.
Yeah. But what did the others
Wild.
think of it? Is it
They
Sean,
just
the husband?
really weird. Like it's weird.
Yeah. Did you
Can't
show
really-
your husband? Is it Shane,
Yeah.
Sean? What
Yeah.
did he?
He said, yeah, that's weird. But he doesn't believe in any of it. But
All right,
that's-
fair enough.
That's
Weird
kind of the vibe
for
I
me.
get from my
Yeah.
husband. Yeah,
Same.
that's weird.
Same. Yeah.
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 It's the layers. It like the handprint would be weird. The me feeling a hand would be weird. But both of them together,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not coincidental.
yeah. Like that would have to be a major coincidence.
Oh yeah. And as
Yeah.
we
Like,
all
something
know,
A giant handprint?
coincidences don't exist.
Nope, they do not.
Nope, not at all.
And then I said, nothing, follow me home, get the hell out of my car.
Good girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. Exactly.
Mhm.
So have you
And
had
same
anything
for me.
from that? Or did it listen to you?
I guess it listened.
Yeah.
Good.
Nothing weird. I mean, we had another investigation on Sunday night, and that was normal.
Yeah. Strange.
Very,
It's very weird.
very,
As
very
as-
weird.
As the
W-Y-R-D,
normal, yeah.
weird.
as the normal people say, it's weird.
It is.
Sorry, normal people. Don't. I'm not really.
There's no such thing.
No.
But I'm like, it's weird. It is weird. But
It
like,
is weird,
I want an explanation. I want to know who the hell has giant hands that's touching my head.
Yeah,
Wow.
a younger me would have said my ex-husband. He was 6'3", my first husband, and my hands. I'm only 5 foot tall. So his hands were like that much bigger than mine. So yeah, a giant.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
cool.
could be a Nephilim.
Oh, while I'm thinking about it, Andy.
Yeah.
Do you know Neil Warden, aka Castle Dude, on
Yes.
YouTube? Okay, good. Because I could totally see the two of you hooking up for investigating some point.
Yeah.
Cemeteries, castles, all of that.
Yeah. He used to come in the chat, but he's not been in for a while. He still says hello and that. But I just think he just watches it.
Yeah, he watches. He's had hasn't been going out on his many adventures. He's had surgery recently. He's doing fine, but he hasn't really been doing much the last 3 or 4 weeks. So,
Right. Okay.
but absolutely. I mean, he's one that I have so much fun. One with his sense of humor, but getting to see and hear the history behind these different places that I don't know, medieval history um
Yeah.
has always fascinated me.
Yeah. No, I like castles, so it's all good. And a castle with a moat, so I can go on my kayak and just go round and round and
There you go.
round all day and just do
Charge a
nothing
fee,
else.
at 25 cents to go around, and
Yeah. Yeah.
early
Charge
theme
people.
park.
There we go. Yeah.
Oh, side
Uh,
note, Andy, before I forget, are you going to Festival of the Unexplained?
No, because I was supposed to be going to Bristol, but that's been called off. But I've got other stuff to do. But also, I have spoke to Ron. They are landing Friday, but it is literally like 40 minutes up the road from me. So I need to go up there, and even if it's just get there, get a selfie, go, here we are, and then come back.
There you go.
I'm more than impressed with that.
Yeah.
So I have spoke to him because I was finding out when he lands, when he goes back, because I'm actually off work on Monday, but they're flying back Monday. So it's like I could do Sunday because I've not got anything going on Sunday. So as long as they're available, it's all good. So yeah, because
So
I had
cool.
this other thing going on, I couldn't plan anything. But then that only got cancelled yesterday, and the price of the tickets are not cheap. So
Are they? Oh,
£450.
wow.
Wow.
I mean,
Yeah.
they have an all-star lineup, so
Yeah.
and they're flying people in from everywhere, so it makes sense.
Oh
They have
yeah,
to cover
yeah.
costs.
I know a few
Yeah.
people that are going on. Jay Matthews is there again. He was there last year. I've met him. He's from Manchester as well. Met him at the Awakening in Bolton in February this year, I think it was. So I know he's going back there. But speaking of conferences and all that, I have some news, but I can't disclose. But I can't say anything until it's been said. But fucking amazing. That's all I can say. Yeah, I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you when we go off. Yeah. I've been speaking to. Huh?
Continue. Sorry.
All right. So I've been speaking to someone. I'm just waiting for them to talk with. Sounds so. This is where it all goes. You know what I mean? Everyone. They've been speaking to their people, so I'm waiting for them to get back with the answers that they're looking for. As long as it all goes to plan, well, it doesn't matter about it going to plan, but the plan that they want will work out better than the original plan or something like that, without giving anything away. But there is other options that failing, but it's quite a big thing. And then there's other things that are going to be running off that, including guests for the show. I can give one thing away because there's no names and it's nothing. I'm not telling anyone anything with this. There are a possibility of people coming over from America to do a live investigation with me.
Very
That's
cool.
all I can tell you. I know.
That's awesome.
Oh, wait. If it comes off, wait till you find out who the person is. Yeah. Rather excited. So
Nice. Hearing you try to explain something without giving too much away is hilarious.
I know, because I'm thinking, and it's like I've got what is happening, and it's like, do not say any of these words that you've got written across the top of your head. Just avoid I have to physically, like in my mind's eye, be able to see what I cannot say, or I will say it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that game Taboo. It's like, don't explain this without saying these words.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I see the smoke puffing out
Yeah.
of your ears whenever you go through this.
But all I'm going to say is the information is going to get released by the next few weeks, and once it has been released, then will then be able to confirm who, what, where, and when. And then hopefully with Friday's guest, let's see how Florida's going to pan out.
Yes.
So
I'm already halfway there, so.
I know, but I've got that week off work, so it's even better.
Yeah.
And just before we go, because I know Tim Smith is watching, and I have said thank you to him a million times to his face on Facebook, Instagram, and everything else. I want to show everyone the tattoo that he's done for me. It took him 3 hours. Yeah, he sat there and he just did it and was absolutely amazing doing it. And this is what I've got. It's 6.5 centimeters.
That turned out great. That really, that turned out great.
So if I can
I
get,
love
he
the
said,
expression
don't do a close up.
I love it.
There are a couple of little things that he couldn't do because it would just blend in and it just go up blurry. It wouldn't look like it is. But I think that there's a lad at work, Nathan, who has been out investigating with me on the streams before, and he's like, Andy, can't stop looking at your hand. every morning. I'm like, oh, do you see my hand? I'm like, don't kiss it, just look. So yeah, but Tim's actually going to be doing some for Nathan. He's coming on Saturday to do one for Becky. Ooh. And I've got a list. Sorry, I've got a tattoo as long as my arm for him. Joke. No, but I have. So yeah, just whenever he can. But he is absolutely amazing. His drawings look like photographs. I thought I could draw, then I seen that. I'm like, nah, not even going to bother again. Pathetic, honestly. He's just so good. So yeah. So that's it. Just quickly, no one say hello to Baby with Laser because he binned us off to watch the Man City game tonight. He actually told me that on the phone this afternoon, so I hope they lost. No, I'm only messing. Hello, but I do hope they lost.
And everybody wish Blue Shift well, because Blue Shift apparently had his operation today.
Oh, okay. Good luck. And no, that's all right. As long as you didn't win, I don't care. And he'll probably go mad at me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Sober Car Pot, it's his birthday today. I wish him happy birthday, and so happy birthday, Sober.
Happy birthday.
And thank you for your support from the very, very beginning. Really appreciate it.
Tommy will be at your party. Let him know when it is.
Yeah, he's already there.
Can I do a little plug?
Of course you can.
Yes.
Okay, so one, the gal that I have my podcast on, her name is Gemma Jade, and her YouTube channel is Gemma Jade YouTube. Ghost Dragon CW. He is sort of our behind the scenes guy. He takes care of the camera for me, does all the technical stuff, helps Gemma with hers. He will be on tonight. He is sort of a nerdy relax and chat at midnight Eastern on Gemma's channel. I will be on tomorrow night from it will be 8 o'clock Eastern for an hour doing Living Paranormally. Gemma does 1-card oracle readings on Friday nights, starting at 7 o'clock Eastern. Usually goes for about 3 hours. It's a first come, first served basis. So long as you don't mind hanging around in the chat for a little while, she gets around to everybody. Nobody gets left behind. And she does give very good readings. And then Saturday nights, she does, they do replays of her early videos. Late night Saturday nights. And it's also just another chance to kind of hang out in the chat and talk about whatever we want to talk about.
Gemma is
I do
actually
want to
on my
see.
list of people to come on the show. She messaged me a while ago, and I'm just
Good.
getting round the list now. So I do need to get her on because
Yeah.
she just wrote a book, or
She
not long.
has her. She has a recent book release.
Yeah.
Her second bestseller on Amazon.
Wow.
See, she's got Campfire Stories.
Yep.
Then she's got the Danger at Your Doorstep. Tales of the Black-Eyed Children.
See.
She actually has 6 or 7 published books. They're all really well done. I highly recommend them. I have several of them myself. I need to get the rest of the collection. But absolutely. And her son will be starting back school in the next week or two, which is
Yeah.
going to allow her more free time during the day.
Okay.
So I would definitely hit her up,
Yeah.
whether it's for a Wednesday or Friday during the
Yeah.
day.
You sent
It
me
would
her
be
email,
perfect for her.
so I've got her
Yeah,
details and what have you.
yeah, definitely. And she doesn't do messenger, but she will do text. And
Yeah.
so if it's easier, I can give you her contact information that way to have her come on. I know she'd love it.
Yeah. Or you can pass mine on to
So
her, whichever, if that works better.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rather than you just giving the details out, I don't mind you passing it on to
Yeah.
certain people. So
And that
right.
reminds me too.
I talk to her pretty regular.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ron's new book came out, Afterlife Contact, A New Perspective. Ron Yacovetti, since we were talking about him. So everybody
Oh,
can
congratulations. Awesome.
Excellent. Hopefully, I'll be getting a selfie with him sometime over the weekend. If not, there's going to be trouble.
You can get a signed copy of his book.
Yes. Oh, so we have got people coming on next few weeks. There's a guy called Adam Butler.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a book, and it's called Butler's DMT Field Guide. He's sending me a copy of this, which is very kind of him. So he's going to come on. It's Brandon that put him in contact with me.
Oh, great.
He's actually going to the Monroe Institute in a few weeks. So he's going to come on after he's been there. He's been to all these other different places. Like, Ayanaka, is it? I can't say it.
Ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca. Nah. Yeah, I'll just say Alaska.
Yeah.
Sounds the same, doesn't it?
It's Alaska.
Yeah.
Same concept.
So it's all that kind of stuff. So he's going to be coming on, but not until I think it's the end of November. I've got the 29th in my head. So 29th. So he's coming on then. They've got a few of the TV and movie ones coming back on between now and the end of November. And then I think that's going to be it until next year for that, only because of so much we've got coming up towards for the Christmas and Halloween and the 24-hour live stream. And yeah, everything else that's going on. So yeah, thank you, Lara, so much for coming on. It was
I've loved it.
Mind-blowing, as always. It's just, I love these conversations. I could have them all the time. So,
yeah, and getting the chance to actually talk to you and Nicole directly, you know.
Yeah.
It kind of
same way back.
If I could get that in-person hug, that would be the next best thing. But you know, this has just been so wonderful, and I hope we get to do it. I hope we get to get that in-person hug.
Virtual hugs.
Yes.
Virtual hugs.
There we go. Yeah.
Yes, I am Pixie.
Atlantic hugs. There we go.
Yep.
So, right. So, massive thank you for coming on. We do have Brian Saying and Arki Mirage coming on Friday. He's going to be talking about the Montauk Project, MK Ultra, and Disclosure Now, which is one of the biggest UFO, not petition, what would you call it? Conference, but with a difference. Yeah, it's like getting the information and doing what they can to get all the information out there for everyone that knows what's going on but isn't being told the truth. So they're going to be coming on talking about that. Brian has also just become a dad. I think they're like 4 days old
Aw.
or something. He sent me a picture. So cute.
Oh my
Awesome.
God.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So they're going to be on Friday. Other than that, I hope I'm feeling better. I do feel a bit better now because I've sweated a lot of it out. Sorry, but I had to share that. But it's all good. So thank you, Nicole. Thank you, Lara. Thank you to everyone who's listening on podcast. The numbers are going up. If you do want to help support the channel, either on YouTube or podcast, you can do that by Patreon. All the information's on there. The links are on podcasts. Get on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, every other podcast player there is. Castbox, Stitcher. I don't really know any others. They're the only ones that I've ever used. So yeah, if you like, you can also join Patreon for free. You don't have to join the paid membership, but it would work out better for the channel if you did. So yeah, but hi Lana. Hi and goodbye, because we are actually ending because we're at the over the 90-minute mark. So thank you again, everyone. Hope you all don't get this what I've got, because it's rotten, and I'd swap anyone any day to take it off me. Even pay you. I'd pay you in post-it notes. Got loads of them. Pink, green, yellow. You can have them. So yeah, that's it. Anyone want to add anything before we end it?
Nope.
Nope.
No,
All good.
I think that's it.
Excellent. Right, don't go anywhere after the show, because I need to tell you this thing, because it's really eating at me. I know. Right. Take care, everyone, and see you on Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye.